Good morning everyone. It's Thursday morning, so it is time for our level 1 mat class, and I've got a lovely treat in store for you this morning. Bet you can't wait. So before we start, quick little bit of information if you haven't seen the post on the normal Chorley Pilates page. To get information out to all of you quickly and efficiently, and for me to have permission to do that, I need you to subscribe to the mailing list on the website. So that's the Chorley Pilates website, not the Facebook page, on the website. If you go to any of the pages and wait about 30 seconds, a little box will pop up with subscribe in it. Just click on that, fill in your details, and then I can let you know everything that is going to be happening about reopening. And I can also send you a very important document that you have to have completed before you'll be allowed back into the studio. So that's really, really important. The other thing is that for members, I am sending out passes so that you can book a one-to-one session. There is a bit of limited availability with that, and so it is on a kind of a first come, first served basis. A lot of slots have gone already, so if you're not on the Gym Catch app, you're not registered on there, I won't have been able to send you on. So if you go over to the Chorley Pilates Facebook page, there's a whole post about that this morning, how to do it, and the links on there so that you can do it really quickly and easily. So that way it just keeps it very simple and quick for everyone. But I might not send your pass out to you straight away. I'll do it as soon as I'm able to. Throughout the day there'll be little times where I've got a few minutes free and I'll just check if there's anyone new on and send you out your pass. Okay, so I hope that was alright. So with regards to this morning's class, you're taking part at your own risk, have to say that, but I will endeavour to keep you all safe and healthy while we're working, so please do listen for any modifications that you might need to make if they apply to you and your body. We're never going to work through pain or symptoms, so just listen, tune into yourself and make sure that you're working comfortably and safely today. Nice clear working area, and then we're good to go, I believe. Okay, so we're going to start in our good standing posture with our heels underneath our hip bones, our toes level, feet parallel, and just standing up lovely and tall. Feel where the pressure is in your feet. Is it in the centre of your heel? Is it even between the heel and the ball of the foot? So just take a moment, just tune into that, feel what's happening, arches lifted, and then if you bring yourselves into good posture, think about pelvis neutral without gripping your glutes. So abdominals drawing slightly up, connecting to the ribs, lengthening that spine. We're relaxing those shoulders down and trying to bring the chin back so that it's over your collarbones. Let's take a nice big breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Just tune into your breath and how your body is feeling today. Where are we feeling that breath going? You're getting a nice 360 breath all the way around that rib cage. If you're feeling a little bit of up and down in the shoulders, if it's been a bit of a tense week, just try and keep them relaxed. Think of inflating that balloon and then deflating it again. So let's add in a little bit of movement to that. Let's turn the chin gently over one shoulder. So just try and keep the face upright rather than tilting. And then we're going to exhale and move all the way around to the other side. Take a breath in. Exhale to move. Inhale to hold. Exhale to move. And a breath in here. And then let's bring the head back to centre. And let's take a shoulder roll up and then squeeze back and down. So really feel that you're lengthening the neck and try to keep a feeling of the ribs being heavy at the front rather than light and moving with you. So we're trying to work through the shoulder area rather than the rib cage. Let's do one more. And then staying still up to the top of the hips, let's just take a little reach to the side and back up. Breath is flowing gently. Just see how those sides of the body feel. Do they feel the same? Might depend on how you've slept or what you were doing yesterday. You might feel a little bit different on one side than the other. Just think about, as you return to the centre, are you pulling up tall? One last one. And then just in some little foot pedals with an opposition arm. Not too high, just feeling a bit of a natural swing of the arm. And feeling that we're pressing that knee over the toes. And keeping the hips level if we can. We'll do one more. And down. Okay, we're going to bring the chin back and down towards the collarbones now. Now let's roll the head to the side, so that now you're thinking of lifting the top of the ear towards the ceiling. Exhale, roll to the other side. Take a breath in. Remember, you're working through your symptom-free range of movement. Tucking the chin in and rolling to the other side. Let's roll to centre and restack. Now we're going to take arm circles. If that's not available to your shoulders, just come back to the shrug. But otherwise we're going to take the arms up, reach them out wide and down. So I'd like you to try and get a feeling of opening the front of the shoulders. So reach out wide and slightly behind you if you can. Let's get a nice stretch into the front of the shoulders. Again, that feeling of heavy in the front of the rib cage. And down. Okay, we're going to go to heel lifts now. So let's take the arms forward and fold into Cossack. Lengthening out of the hips, we're going to lift both heels, spread the toes out, and roll back down. Lifting the heels, it doesn't need to be high. You're probably looking at my heels and thinking, mine don't come up that far. Remember, I do 3 bar classes a week. We practice it a lot, so don't worry if yours are only just coming off the floor. I'd rather you did a tiny little lift and it was up and down than you started to push yourself forwards. You'll overbalance. So we'll just stay there and work on strengthening those feet and strengthening the calves. We're going to do one more. Now can you hold it? You take those arms out in front. And then you're going to put one heel down, lift the opposite arm up. Switch. So now we're doing foot pedals from above. If this isn't good for your feet or your knees, come down and do them from the floor. Shoulders, if this isn't good for you, just come from the hips up to shoulder height. One last one. Now can you come back to that rise for me and hold? Can you turn your chin over one shoulder? Back to centre. Over the other shoulder. Centre. Down. Well done. Those calves nice and warm. Bet they are. Okay, we're going to work a little bit on shoulder retraction now. So thinking wide collarbones. I'm going to come on the diagonal a little bit here. I'd like you to push forwards and feel how that narrows your collarbones. And can you feel that stretch across the back? Now, can you pull your collarbones out wide and feel your shoulder blades come back in? So it's not about pinching up and back. It's about going narrow and then going wide. So we go narrow and we go should hopefully feel those shoulder blades set into the back against the ribs. We'll do one more. And then let's take that stretch out wide again. So reach out. If you can, take the arms slightly back and keep them at shoulder height. Take it to there. And then bring the arms down. Just give those shoulders a roll. Wonderful. Okay, we're going to go into foot pedals again, and then we're going to keep building. So if the progressions, if it's a bit much for you, just stay with what we've done earlier. Okay, we're going to start off nice and simple with a foot pedal. So just opposition arm, working through those feet. So can you feel how you're getting a nice bend in the toes, hopefully? If that's not available to you, just move to where it's symptom free. So if you've got arthritis in your feet, or bone spurs or bunions, if that doesn't feel comfortable, don't force it. We want to just keep those joints nourished and able to move, but pain free. Okay, let's do one more each side. And then bringing the arms down. Now we're going to go into a heel strike now, but normally I get you to do it in a very focused way. Strike the heel, pick it up and come back in. We're going to do it like you're walking today. So I'd like you to just pick up, step forwards, step onto it, step back in. So it's more of a natural movement. That leg is bending, we're picking it up, so we're not dragging it along the floor. Pick that foot up, step it in. And because we're slowing it down, you should feel that little moment where your core switches on and your hips start to work. We've just got that little moment of balance. Rolling through and back. One more. Now we're going to exaggerate it a bit now. We're going to make that step a little bit bigger. So we're going to peel up, step further forwards and rock back. Can you still step it back in? So we don't want to end up doing a John Cleese, okay? We're not Ministry of Funny Walks here. So try to just keep it low, but just stepping further forwards. Parents, you'll know this one. This is the panic step. You know when you see your child's about to do something dangerous. Oh, it's that one. Yeah. Okay, one more each side. And in, last one. Now we're going to build on that, so I'm going to come a bit further back so you can see me properly. We're going to stay in that step. So let's do that heel strike, big step. Stay there. Forward, you're going to come into some lunges for me, so make sure those toes are bent at the back. Hips square, and think shoulders over toes. Now keep it small, just a little lunge. I just want you to start warming up. Feel that you're pressing down into this front heel, and you can really feel this hamstring and this glute working on this side. We've got two more here. And then we're going to step it back. Can you pick it up and step in? If that doesn't feel like it's safe for you, make it smaller. So we're out, we're into our lunges, just small, okay? So keep it going for me, but I want you to be pressing into that heel, feeling that hamstring switch on, feeling that glute work. You've probably got 3 more. One last one. Now you're going to have to use your core here. Push back and up. And in. Wonderful. Now we're going to keep it a little bit smaller now. We're just going to do one lunge per step. So let's heel strike. Forwards, lunge, up and in. Heel strike, lunge and in. Now if you feel that you can go a little bit deeper, now you don't have to keep up my pace, but if you can go a bit deeper, if you can nearly get your knee to the floor, go for it. If your knees don't like that, or your hips, or you just don't feel strong enough, just work to where it's good for you today. So heel strike, roll. Don't forget that bit, don't just plonk your foot down. Pulling up tall, stepping in, into that lunge. Think fasten your shoelaces. Up and in. And in, heel up, strike. And in. Now we're ready to add on. We're going to strike that heel, come down into your lunge. Can you hold it? Can you turn your chin over the shoulder and over the other shoulder? Push back up and step in. Strike. Down. Chin over the shoulder, over the other shoulder, and back up and in. We're going to use the arms now. Now if you're feeling a little bit wobbly, keep your lunge really small. Okay, so into your heel strike, down into your lunge. Now same arm as leg. You're going to open it out, follow it round, bring it back, push up and in, strike, lunge, follow that hand and back and in. Let's keep it going. You can slow it down, you don't need to do it as quickly as me. Let's make sure we've got control as we do this. We're not forcing that rotation. So if you've got spine issues, osteoporosis, keep it small. Strike that heel, down into your lunge, open out, and back in. Are your legs on fire yet? Down into your lunge, open out, and back in. And you're probably thinking, what else could she add into that? Well, you're about to find out. So, repeating, strike, down into that lunge, open, come back. Now push onto that front leg, tilt forwards, lift the arms if you can. Now can you reach and take that toe off the floor? Hold. Bring it down. Step onto it, pick up and in. And strike that heel. Down into your lunge. Open out. Push forwards. Hips square to the front. Let's lift the arms if you can. Tilt forwards. Lift that toe, stretch your leg away from you. Step it back. Knee lift. And down. Can you give me a couple more on each side? I will be back in a moment. Yeah. All right, thank you. How are we getting on? You're going to finish it on the opposite side than you started. And then when you've done that, just come back to good standing posture. Take a big breath in. Exhale. And down. Okay, how are we feeling? Feeling like you've done enough already? And We've still got another 25 minutes to go. Okay, so let's give the legs a rest. Let's focus on the upper body and the shoulders a little bit now. So we've practiced that feeling of ribs connected to the hips and staying a little bit heavy so that we don't pop them forwards. And we're going to use that to give us a shoulder squeeze. We've already been opening out. We've given this bit a bit of a stretch. So let's turn the palms to the back, chin back, reaching down. So I want you to feel that pull under the armpit. We are working those lats today. And then you're going to squeeze the shoulder blades together at the bottom. So do your ribs still feel heavy at the front as you chin back? And release. Let's reach down, exhale, squeeze back. And release. Inhale, exhale. Now hopefully you're feeling the shoulder blades, so you keep that going for me, pulling towards the spine, and you're not pinching up into the top of the shoulders and the neck. We want to think downwards. So if you think of your back as a triangle, the points of your shoulders, and then the bottom of your rib cage, where it meets the spine, we're pulling down towards that point. So if you kind of visualize that in your mind as to that's what's happening. We'll do one more. Exhale. And release. Let's give those shoulders a roll and let's turn the palms forwards. Let's give those lats a stretch. So we're going to reach up. If that's not available to your shoulders, just take it to where you can. Now I'd like you to lift the ribs on one side, reach your little finger towards the ceiling. Stretch. And release. Other side. Push, lift the little finger towards the ceiling. And release, and let's bring those arms all the way down. Okay, from there, we're going to step a bit wider now, quite wide, and I'd like you to turn the feet out. Could that come from the hips though? Okay, we need to turn the whole leg out, squeezing into the glutes. So if you bend your knees now, your knees are going over your toes rather than rolling in. If that's happening, can you squeeze your hips and push the thighs back? If that's not happening, bring your feet into less of a turnout. Okay? So we're just going to start with a bit of a plie. So you're going to push out. Push the thighs out, push the arms out. And feeling that you're pressing into the heels as you do that. So that we're pushing back, we're working the legs and the glutes rather than gripping into those hips. So just try and find that that's not happening if you can. Pressing into the heels really helps. And we're staying upright, shoulders are over hips. So if you find you're leaning forwards to do this, maybe your hamstrings are a little bit tight, sometimes that can restrict it. So just come to where you can. Toes are staying down. One more. And up. We're going to go back to that side stretch. We'll reach a little bit further. And in. Stretch and reach. Okay, now I want you to be very aware of your spine, that it's staying in neutral. Okay, and we're going to take a little rotation. Can you turn and look on the diagonal, only just, and centre. On the other diagonal, and centre. Now if you've got osteoporosis, don't force this movement. If you need to, let your hips move. Okay, that might be safer. But we're going to add that into a little bit of a lunge now. So we're going to take one hand into the small of the back and take the other hand so that your fingers are pointing at the bottom of your rib cage. So we're going to take a lunge. Now can you do that little turn again and reach for the inside of your knee. No flexing of the spine though, we've got to stay tall. We're pulling back up, elbow out to the side. Push to the knee, reaching out through the spine up to the hip. If you'd rather have your feet a little bit wider because you want to go a bit deeper, you absolutely can do, as long as that feels okay. We've got 4 more. Is that knee pressing out? You're keeping those arches lifted for me. We've got one last one. Now let's stretch out and switch. Shoulders down. Let's take that lunge. Turn. Reach the hand for the knee by moving the body. Let's pull back up. So we're hinging at the hip, keeping a tall spine. We're not flexing. So if you find yourself flexing, if you can feel that spine bend, just take it to where you can. So even if that's just the top of the thigh, that's absolutely fine. We've got 2 more here. One last one. And then let's take those arms out and come back to those pliés. Plié. Stretch out wide. If your arms can go higher, they can go higher. Bring them down. Stretch out. So just a shoulder height if you need to. If you can go higher, we're going to go higher. We've got 2 more. Last one. And up. And bring the arms down. Okay, let's take the hands onto the hips. Can you turn your toes in? Pivot on the heels. Just feel that stretch for a moment. Turning the legs in. And then heels in, toes in, heels in. We're back to good standing posture. Right, from there, we're coming safely down onto the mats. So whatever you need to help you, we're coming down into 4-point position. If that's not available to you, forearms on the kitchen counter or on the wall, and you can modify those exercises that way. Same as if you're not comfortable down on your wrists. So we want knees underneath hips, and we're going to measure. Let's sit back. Take the elbows to the knees, stretch the fingers out. We're going to push up onto the fingertips and then swap heel of the hand for fingertips for the heel of the hand. And then we're going to push over so that we've got shoulders over your wrists. Middle finger pointing forward, spread those fingers out. Now let's think about lengthening the spine. All the way from the tailbone right up to the base of the skull, so the crown of your head is extending forwards. We've got a little soft arch in the lower back. Let's work on a bit of shoulder stability here. Elbows are straight but not locked out, so facing diagonally inwards. Let's press into the heel of one hand, stay forwards. Lift and hover the other hand and just keep that breath flowing for me. And we're going to switch slowly from side to side, feeling very aware of what's happening in the back, in the shoulders. Can you feel that lovely switch on into the shoulder blades, around the ribs? Feeling nice strong shoulders now. Let's do 1 more each side. And it's really important that you stay forwards over the wrists for this. If you start to migrate backwards, you won't get those shoulders switching on. Now, tricep push-ups. Let's keep that spine long and stay forwards. So lower your nose between your fingertips. Push back up. I'm not expecting you to get all the way to the mat. Don't worry, but your elbows are pointing towards your knees. This is triceps rather than biceps. There's a bit of biceps going on, but we're mostly loading the triceps here. Now your shoulders stay wide and strong. We've got 2 more. One last one for me. And pushing up. Let's sit ourselves back into the shell stretch. Turn your little fingers to the mat and push them forwards. Give those arms a nice well-deserved stretch. Deep breath into the back. Feel how far that breath is going. Is it stopping in the middle of your back? Maybe you can feel it in your lower back. Can you get it to go all the way to your hips? Take another breath in. Place the palms down, bring them towards you so that you're lifting the body. And let's push forwards again. Okay, so I'm going to move a little bit further this way because I want some space behind me. I think you know what's coming. We're going to go into pinpoint arms and legs. So I'd like you to focus on switching those shoulders on again. Opposite arm to leg. Stay on the mat for now. And back in. So we shift from side to side, drawing the abdominals in. Now can you keep that going for me? What I'd like you to be feeling is that your tummy muscles are pulling in and they're doing just as much work as the back. So if you feel your back is overworking, could you take just a little breath out and just tuck the pelvis under slightly so that your back becomes flat rather than a neutral spine? Okay, that's going to help you to get your glutes switching on and get your abdominals helping. Now let's add in that lift. Exhale, lift that leg and the arm and back in. Need a bit more space still. Stretch. Lift. We're reaching away. Can you stretch those toes for me as well? So it's an exhale as we lift, so that we can really draw the abdominals in, all the way up, get that support that our back needs, and then it makes sure our glutes are doing the work of lifting that leg. Let's lift. And in, one more. And back in. From there, let's take a cat stretch. Stay over your wrists. We're going to take a breath in. Now as you exhale, can you think of tilting your tailbone down towards your toes? Feel that lifts from the pubic bone all the way up to the bottom of the ribs. And back again. Exhale. You could be lifting the pelvic floor too. This is a great opportunity to practice that pelvic floor squeeze. Now, are you squeezing your glutes to do this? Try and make sure it's the abdominals. And one more. Release. Now, just pay attention to where your shoulder blades are. Can you glide them down the back towards your hips? And release. So keep that going for me. The feeling is of the shoulder blades being close-ish to the spine, not collapsed in, but just gently engaged and sliding down towards the hips. So it's not a pull down in the armpit, it's the shoulder blades moving. Work a bit closer to the spine if you can. So getting that awareness is really good. Now, if you need to keep practicing that, stay there and practice that. If you can, think of extending the crown of the head forwards and lifting your collarbones away from the floor. Can you get a bit of a curve in that mid-back area? Shoulder blades back. Lift the crown of the head, not your forehead. And back. So could you give me a couple more? Feel that glide and then feel as though you're trying to curve your breastbone upwards. And still keeping that feeling of connection into the rib cage. So that was your last one. And then just sit back to your heels for me. Let's take the wrists to the hips and give them a bit of a roll. Let's go the other way. And release. Wonderful. From there, we're going to come into a little bit of side work. And we're going to come onto the forearm. Elbow underneath the shoulder. So just check that you're not here. You want to be right over that elbow. Pushing away from the floor so that you feel nice and firmly anchored. And this is a point that you can press into for a bit of stability and strength. So we've got the knees bent, knees are together, hips are stacked. So just check that you feel like you're pressing towards that knee rather than sat on your glutes. Okay, we're going into mermaid. Let's take the arm up, reach for the ceiling. Now could you take a breath out and lift your ribs away from the floor without pushing your hip away? So stay over that elbow and down. Now you might not feel like you're lifting very much at the moment, that's okay. The stronger you get at this, so the more you do it really well, even if it's tiny, the stronger you'll get and the higher you'll start lifting. So we want to take a breath out, lift. And down, so this is really tiny. And we're pulling the abdominals in. You can feel this side really working. Now, if you have osteoporosis, osteopenia, a hernia, a prolapse, or a diastasis, I'd like you to stay here, and I want you to really focus on drawing the abdominals in. Good, strong breath out. If that doesn't apply to you, would you like to add in a lift? Let's take the arm up, inhale. Exhale, ribs, push over that elbow, hips. Oh, I've run out of room for my arm. And up. Control it back down, don't sink into that shoulder. There we go, really good. Arm up, ribs. Push up, lift. Stretching over. And down. Have you got two more for me? I'm going to come this way a little bit. I want to get my arm right over. Ribs, hips. And we get a lovely stretch in that top side. And down. One last one. Ribs, hips. And down. Wonderful. Okay, let's just push up. Take hold of the feet if you can and just take a stretch the other way. Reach out of the hips. And then give that shoulder a roll. Okay, safely over to the other side for me. Let's take those legs out. Onto the elbow. Knees together, hips stacked. And we're pressing away from the floor, feeling that we could push into that forearm to really get some strength and stability. Let's take the arm up. Now just a breath out, draw the abdominals in and lift those ribs away from the floor. Back down. So we're not moving the hips. Keep the hips still. Exhale, lift. Press into that forearm. Feel that you're pushing away and getting a wonderfully strong shoulder girdle. Okay, lift. And push. And down. One more. Lift. Now if you stayed here on the other side, you're going to stay here on this side too. Otherwise, are you okay to lift? If you're not, if shoulders are stopping you, just stay with hips on the mat. But if you can, you're going to exhale, lift the hips as well. Reach over, we're still pushing away from that floor. Strong shoulder, keeping it away from the jaw. Pushing up. And down. Last two. Exhale. And down. One more. And down. Okay, let's push away. Take that stretch. Reach out to the hip. Breathe into it. And recover. Give that shoulder a roll. Right. From there, we're going to come safely down onto our backs. So, you're going to come over to the side, bring yourself down, roll over onto your back. Now this is where, if your head is tilted back or you can't get your head comfortably on the floor, pop your cushions underneath, as many as you need to get that good head position. I'm just going to come forwards a little bit, want a bit of space for my arms. Now, are your shoulders off the floor? We're just going to take a little shoulder roll. Can you bring them down and then glide them down? So just like we did in standing. Now if they're still up off the floor, turn your chin over one shoulder, ear to the floor, roll the shoulder open and down, and it should go there a bit more easily. Can you keep it there? Turn your head to the other side, roll the shoulder open and down, and bring the head back to the centre. Okay, we want bottom rib down if you can, and then we're going to turn the palms downwards. So hopefully that hasn't lifted your shoulders. Try and keep them still wide if you can. Pelvis is sitting neutral, so if you imagine a marble halfway between pubic bone and tummy button, that's resting there. Now we're going to take a breath in. As you exhale, could you slide your fingertips along the mat and gently bring your spine down to just touch the mat? And release. So you're rolling the marble towards your tummy button now. Exhale. We're reaching, hands can come off the mat as though you're reaching for your ankles rather than your heel. Now keep that going for me. What I'd like you to feel is that you are rolling that marble smoothly rather than just making a crease at the tummy button and making a V. I'd like you to try and make a U shape, okay? A nice hollow. So we draw the pubic bone towards the ribs and the ribs come down as well, and we get that nice scoop. Okay, now take your hands onto your tummy. We're going to do that again. Exhale. Can you feel that hollow? Is there anything pushing up and into your fingertips? Whether it's a narrow line, a wide line, or a little triangle? If that's the case, you're going to keep your head down for this next bit, as you are if you've got osteoporosis, neck issues, particularly spondylolisthesis, a hernia or a prolapse. Okay, diastasis, you could keep your hands here. If it pops out, stay with your head and shoulders down and keep practicing this. So if that doesn't apply to you, can you slide forwards and then exhale, nod the chin, and can you come up just head and shoulders off and back down. Reach. Hollow. So I can even see, I've got a nice scoop here, there's nothing pushing out. And down, we're going to do one more. And down. Right, let's lengthen those legs out. Take a nice big stretch. You can let that back lift off the floor a little if that feels okay. Stretch the tummy muscles out. And then bring the arms down, bring the legs back in. Right, let's safely roll over and pushing up. Now we're going to come up into standing, whichever way is safe and appropriate for you, but if you can join me in a squat, let's tuck those toes and keep that spine long. So really tall spine, keep lengthening, push your heels down, lift your chest, you're in squat position, pushing up. Okay, very well done. Let's just take an arm swing, a little bit of natural rotation. Allow the hips a bit of freedom of movement too. Okay, let's just take a little calf stretch. Legs worked very hard earlier on. Just push that heel away from you and step in. Push the other heel back and step in. One more each side. Just a gentle ease down towards the floor. And in. And then let's take soft knees and a big breath in, stretch up and exhale. Wonderful. Hope you've enjoyed that this morning. Don't forget to subscribe to the newsletter on the website and download the Gym Catch app. So all the details on how to do that are over on the Chorley Pilates page. Thank you very much. Take care, enjoy the rest of your day, and I shall see you soon.